I got an ostrich on my shirt. Yo, let's do it. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's do a little YouTube exclusive Connie tent.
YouTube exclusive content.
USA, USA, USA. Sorry, I'm gonna be very serious now. So the first presidential debate between former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris happened this week, and boy was it not even close. I've genuinely never seen a more clearly lopsided political debate in my entire life. I usually don't like watching these debates because it's hard to tell who the winner is. It always just feels like an hour of both people calling the other person a liar and kind of saying a lot of words without actually saying anything of any real substance. But that wasn't the case here. This debate had a very clear winner and loser. At no point was Donald Trump even close to making a cogent argument for anything. At no point did it feel like he had Vice President Harris pinned down or in a tight spot or flustered. At no point did it seem like Donald Trump was anywhere close to putting together a competent, competitive argument as to why he should be president over Kamala Harris. The man was quite simply outmatched in every conceivable way. I'm honestly not being hyperbolic here. Trump's performance was abysmal. Chris Wallace called it the worst debate performance in American history. But hey, Chris Wallace is biased, right? And I'm just some random internet lefty. You can't take our word for it. Let's hear what lifelong Republican Chris Christie had to say.
She was exquisitely well prepared. She laid traps, and he chased every rabbit down every hole instead of talking about the things that he should have been talking about. This is the difference between someone who's well prepared and someone who's unprepared. Whoever did debate prep for Donald Trump should be fired. He was not good tonight at all.
All right, that was kind of bad. That was kind of rough. But look, Chris Christie's just mad that he lost to Trump in the 2016 election. He's bitter. He doesn't count. I'm sure we can't find any other Republicans who aren't Dick Cheney, Mitt Romney, Mike Pence, John Bolton, Dan Coates, William Cohen, Mark Esper, Alberto Gonzalez, Chuck Hagel, John Kelly, Ray LaHood. You know what? That list just kind of keeps going on for so long, so I'm not going to actually read the whole thing. But there are no other Republicans who would agree that Trump lost, right? Well, look, I'm sure we could turn the tables around and find just as many prominent Democrats who would agree that Harris had a subpar performance, right? What's that? We don't have a clip of that? There are no Democrats who have said that? We can't find any? Not a single one? Okay, well, who cares about other people's thoughts? You make up your own mind, right? You do your own research. Let's just watch the footage and see for ourselves. So the very first thing that happened was the two candidates shook hands in a handshake initiated by Vice President Harris. During this handshake, the Vice President introduced herself to Donald Trump.
Kamala Harris. Let's have a good debate.
Nice to see you. Have fun.
Thank you.
Now, you might be thinking, why would she do that? How would he not know who she is? Well, it's because they'd never actually met. And the reason they've never met is because Donald Trump was the first president since the American Civil War who refused to participate in a peaceful and cordial transfer of power. Normally, Trump and Harris would have met when Harris and Biden were sworn into office and the Trump administration gracefully handed over the keys to the White House. But this didn't happen when Trump lost in 2020 because Trump is a narcissistic baby who refused to say good game to the kids who just whooped his ass on the soccer field. The handshake was also a good opportunity for Kamala Harris to clearly tell Donald Trump and all of conservative America how to accurately pronounce her first name, since they refuse to pronounce it correctly because conservatives are outlandishly unserious and immature people.
Kamala Harris.
Honestly, I feel like the debate was already over in this moment. With this one gesture, Kamala Harris was letting the entire world know who the adult in the room is. And I think it set Trump off balance before things even got started. Here's Donald Trump responding to one of his very first questions on abortion.
They have abortion in the 9th month. They even have, and you can look at the governor of West Virginia, the previous governor of West Virginia, not the current governor, who's doing an excellent job, but the governor before, he said the baby will be born and we will decide what to do with the baby. In other words, we'll execute the baby.
That was like the second minute of him speaking in this debate. He just launched right into a completely insane, unhinged lie about post-birth executions. Luckily, moderator Lindsay Davis was there to decisively set the record straight.
I give tremendous credit to those 6 justices.
There is no state in this country where it is legal to kill a baby after it's born.
And of course, that wasn't the only unhinged right-wing conspiracy theory Donald Trump brought to the debate stage.
You see what's happening. You see what's happening with towns throughout the United States. You look at Springfield, Ohio. You look at Aurora in Colorado. They are taking over the towns. They're taking over buildings. They're going in violently. These are the people that Xi and Biden led into our country, and they're destroying our country.
Yeah, this conspiracy theory that Venezuelan drug lords have taken over apartment complexes in Aurora, Colorado, has been thoroughly debunked. It's up there with Jewish space lasers and kids peeing in litter boxes in schools. Luckily, nobody in that room was letting Donald Trump get away with any of his usual nonsense.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Well, I've seen people on television.
Let me just say here, this is
the people on television say my dog was taken and used for food. So maybe he said that, and maybe that's a good thing to say for a city manager.
I'm not taking this from television.
But the people are on television saying their dog.
By the way, that totally insane thing he just said about people eating cats and dogs in Springfield, Illinois, was in response to Kamala Harris saying this.
And I'll tell you something, he's going to talk about immigration a lot tonight, even when it's not the subject that is being raised. And I'm going to actually do something really unusual, and I'm going to invite you to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies, because it's a really interesting thing to watch. You will see during the course of his rallies, he talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter. He will talk about windmills cause cancer. And what you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom.
I'm not kidding. She said that, and the very next thing he said was this.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets.
That was his immediate response. Not only was Kamala Harris just so much more poised and prepared with her statements, but he kept sabotaging himself by doing things like that and easily setting himself up in moments like this.
As you know, the FBI says overall violent crime is actually coming down in this country. But Vice
Excuse me,
President Harris,
the FBI they were defrauding statements. They didn't include the worst cities. They didn't include the cities with the worst crime. It was a fraud, just like their number of 818,000 jobs that they said they created turned out to be a fraud.
I think this is so rich, coming from someone who has been prosecuted for national security crimes, economic crimes, election interference, has been found liable for sexual assault, and his next big court appearance is in November at his own criminal sentencing.
How did he set himself up that bad? How did he not realize he was walking right into that? You can see how excited Kamala Harris gets when she realizes the mistake he's making. Pardon the sports analogy, but this is like a quarterback realizing that the corner passed his top receiver off to the safety, but the safety didn't pick up the coverage, leaving his guy wide open down the seam. It's just a mental error where you're basically serving up points for free to your opponent on a silver platter. Honestly, watching this debate was like watching that scene from The Simpsons where Sideshow Bob steps on all those rakes, but like if Bob had been the one who laid out all the rakes that he keeps stepping on. The other thing I love about this clip is that it isn't up for debate. It's not a he said, she said situation. This is something that is just simply true. Donald Trump is a convicted felon. He has been found liable for sexual assault. He is going to court in November November to receive sentencing for his crimes. He can't just weasel out of this and say, nuh-uh, that's a lie, because he knows that the entire world, including even his supporters, are aware that it's just a plain fact. Look, there are so many more highlights that really emphasize how disastrous this debate was for Donald Trump and how thoroughly he got laid out and flayed by the much more prepared, much more competent Kamala Harris. But I think the clip that really sums this entire presidential race up is this one right here.
Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people. So let's be clear about that. And clearly he is having a very difficult time processing that. But we cannot afford to have a president of the United States who attempts, as he did in the past, to upend the will of the voters in a free and fair election. And I'm going to tell you that I have traveled the world as Vice President of the United States, and world leaders are laughing at Donald Trump. I have talked with military leaders, some of whom worked with you, and they say you're a disgrace. And when you then talk in this way in a presidential debate and deny what over and over again are court cases you have lost because you did in fact lose that election, it leads one to believe that perhaps we do not have in the candidate to my right the temperament or the ability to not be confused about fact. That's deeply troubling, and the American people deserve better.
God damn, that's good, dude. Woo! That is just some prime. That's just an epic moment from Vice President Harris. Chisel that thing into granite and post it in front of every law building in the country in place of the 10 Commandments. If you were undecided before this debate, I really hope you aren't anymore. This decision isn't difficult. There is one clear option to move forward, and one guy who was thoroughly exposed as a pathetic clown who never should have been allowed to get this far in the first place. Trump just lost this thing, dude. The response from conservatives online tells you everything you need to know. Conservative talking heads across social media were calling the entire event rigged, saying things like fact-checking should be banned from debates, while conservative voters were filling out polls declaring Trump the winner in a landslide to cope with the sting of how truly objectively bad his performance was. Like, which is it, gang? Was the debate rigged and Harris was being fed her answers through a secret earpiece radio? Or did Donald Trump, the reigning presidential debate champ, mop the floor with her? They know which one it is. If you're a Trump supporter and you're somehow watching this video, you know. You know. All right, that's the end of the video. What do you think of the debate? Who do you think won? Let me know. Sound off in the comments and like, share, and subscribe to all the thing for it because I like that. That's good for me if you do it. And www.patreon.com/AustinArcher. That's a fun one. Patreon.com/AustinArcher. Whoa, what? Patreon, if you want to support this. Shout out to all the Patreon patrons. Love you so much. That's all. That's it. Okay? I don't know what else to tell you. All right? That's it, dude. We're done. Get out of here. Go watch a different video now, okay? Bye.
Idiotic nonsense, spewing like a fountain overflowing with no one knowing the difference between wrong and right. All day and all damn night, I got morons on my left and more on my right. An overwhelming indicator, mind me tautologies and
also, another thing that I didn't mention is that he didn't call her by name once in the entire debate. He never said her name, even though she went out and introduced herself and was like, Kamala Harris, that's my name. That's how you say my name. The entire debate, he just called her and she. And he just sounded like a little kid the entire time. He'd be like, well, that's what she did. That she's the one. He'd be like, well, but her. Oh my God, he sucks, dude. He sucks.